Hi guys, so this is a long awaited video. You guys have been asking me how do you do the write up part of your critique? That means when you critique an article, how do you go about writing the critique? How do you, well, I think most of you guys, at least people in the UK, have modules that have to do with critiquing a particular article, and then you have to do the write up for the essay. So this particular video is dedicated to that. At least you guys chose, you guys voted, and then we decided on this video. So if that sounds like what you're looking for right now, definitely keep watching this. So what I am going to do is put the link to the article, the link to the tool we're going to be using in the description box. All the links will be in the description box, so make sure to check it out. So I have chosen this particular article. I know a lot of you guys have been saying, do an article on public health, do a management article, healthcare this, business something. Guys, let me address that. Here's the thing. You need to understand that critiquing an article is the same thing no matter what you've chosen. Okay? So no matter the article you're critiquing, the approach is forever the same. It doesn't matter what tool you're using. Remember, I have done a video, previous videos actually, not just one now, about three on critiquing an article. So, and the very last video, I mentioned several tools that you can use aside CASP. But I love using CASP because encompassing I find it really encompassing. I feel like it has almost everything that I need when I'm critiquing an article. So that's why I use it. But it depends on what your school wants or what you really desire from a critique tool. But I'm going to be using CASP in this video as well. If you want me to use another tool, let me know, and let me know what tool you would like me to use. But make sure to check out previous videos. I have explained fully how to critique an article. This particular part is actually to address that write up part. So I'm not going to go ahead and critique the entire article. Man, we won't leave here today. But what I'm going to do is show you how you can approach the introduction, do a brief write up about one of the sections on the CASP tool that we're critiquing, and then show you how you can do the conclusion. So that way I have you covered, okay? So basically I have you covered. So this is the article. It's about healthy eating and obesity prevention for preschoolers, and it is a randomized control trial. So what I would do is when I go on the CASP page, I'm going to click on the checklist that is for randomized control trials. That's what I'm going to use to critique this particular article. So let's get to it. So basically, the article is not the randomized control trials, although it's prevention for preschoolers. The participants are actually the parents of the preschoolers to educate them and create interventions and stuff for them so that they can eventually access it. So you can go through the entire article. The link is in the description box and make sure to check it out. But right now we'll go to the tool. Let's go to the CASP tool. I've already clicked on it. You know, we have this CASP randomized control trial checklist. It's newly updated. Wow, that's nice. So that's what I am going to use. The link is in the description box, guys, so you can always check it out. Guys, before we go on, I hope you have liked and I hope you have subscribed. If you haven't so far, please do so. It means the world to me, okay? And when you like and subscribe, other people also get to see the video, meaning you're not just liking and subscribing for me, which is good actually. I love you to subscribe for me, but at the same time you're helping others. That means they would be able to have access to this video and watch it as well. So let's get to it. If we click on that randomized control trial thing, this is what we have. Let me maximize this, okay? So this is what we have for the randomized control trial checklist. We have all this, and you already know there are videos. I have done videos on both qualitative and quantitative studies, how to critique them. So you can make sure to check out those and how to answer all these questions. But mainly, like I said earlier, what we are focusing on is how to do the write up. That is the most important part of this whole thing. How do you do the write up? I think that's what confuses people. And let me put this there that once we're done with this, I've already said I'm not doing the entire thing. I'm going to show you how to, but I'm not doing the entire thing. If you still need more clarification, if you still want me to work with you one to one, the link to consultation is in the description box. Just book an appointment with me so that I can also get you sorted. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to provide value in this video. You already know I'm going to provide value, even if you still want me to do a one-to-one with you, okay? So let's go ahead. I'm going to be using Google Docs to do the write-up. It just makes it easier for me, right? So I already have the article. Remember, this is the article, and I have to write an introduction for this. It's important to understand that for me to write an introduction, I need to understand what the article is all about. Obviously, I've read through the article and I know that this article is trying to address childhood obesity, which is a growing epidemic right now in the country. So that's what my introduction is going to be about. It's going to be about the problem in the article and why I think it is an issue. In this case, why I think this is a public health issue that is worth looking into. Yeah. So those are the things that I am going to address. So if I am to do the write up now, let's see, where is it? Let's load up the Google Docs. So if I'm to do the write up, I would start by saying, so we're going to type. This video is going to be a bit long. This is a critique of that means the write-up you're doing is a critique of a randomized, sorry, I'm going to abbreviate some things, is a critique of a randomized control trial. It was conducted in Australia. I'm not a very fast typer. Australia, on rather by, so I quote the authors. I put my citation there. Costeris et al. 2010, yeah, on healthy eating and obesity prevention among preschoolers. Among preschoolers, right? First stop. So now this is basically what the title is. This is basically what the whole thing is all about. So what do I go on to do from here? This article intends to assess rather the effectiveness of an intervention in tackling childhood obesity. Okay, so that's what the article is trying to do. So now what do I go on to do now to intends to assess effectiveness. Okay, so what do I go ahead to do from here? I'll go ahead and talk a bit about childhood obesity. That way, I look like I know what I'm saying. I look like I know what I'm doing. I'm well read. I didn't just read the article. I read way beyond the article, right? So I would go ahead and write about childhood obesity and present it as, let's just assume, some of these things. Childhood obesity how do I phrase it? How do I phrase it? Is one of the global public health challenges. Sorry, I'm going to abbreviate something. Public health challenges because of our time, okay? One of the global public health challenges in the 21st century, right? So I can't just leave it as this. I still go on a bit further, right? Just to at least Let's give it a bit of flesh. So the prevalence, the current prevalence, no, let's say it this way. Over time, guys, I'm writing this from my head, so it's not. This is me putting myself on the spot. I like to do that a lot. I think it kind of tasks my brain. Yeah, over time, the prevalence of, but these facts, most of these facts are correct. Okay, so the prevalence of childhood obesity has risen from 11 million to 124 million within 40 years. Within 40 years. Now that shows you that it's a growing pandemic. So we put our reference there. That will be, I got that stuff from worldobesity.org. That's the website now. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it at that. It depends on the type of citation you're using or the type of referencing you're using. I'm using the Harvard format of referencing. So, well, am I? Anyway, sure. This is what I intend to do with this. So you can always cite your reference right there. And remember, I've done a video on how to use Mendeley. That saves you time. But because I'm using Google Docs right now, I can't access my Mendeley. If I were to be using my Microsoft Word, then I'll be able to access it. But guys, make sure to check out that video. It would also help. So how to use Mendeley will save you a lot of time. Okay. So that being the case, I think it's 2021 thereabouts. That's where I got this from. So I've shown that there is an epidemic. It is quite alarming. I can go on and on about it a little bit. This is just to give you flesh and to show that okay, there is an issue, it is a problem, and there is a need to address it, and that's what this study has done. So I have some things jotted here, and so the rate of growth of this epidemic of growth of this epidemic is quite alarming and poses a risk to the overall health of the population, right? Ha ha ha. Epidemic. So the overall health of the population, which is absolutely true. You can go on and say things like childhood obesity is, I think I jotted something somewhere when I was reading it, is a preventable disease. Therefore, research into possible ways to reduce that epidemic will help improve the overall health, which is like what I have just paraphrased here. So put it out there, the whole essence of this thing. So this study, now let's face the study itself, like introduce the problem. That's what I'm trying to say. So you can go on further and tell us like childhood obesity leads to this. It can cause type 1 diabetes, it can cause this, all that, and then you are showing us what the problem is with this particular topic. And after that, you move on to now face the study that you intend to critique itself. So I would go on and use something like the study, still on the introduction though. I'm going to add this to the introduction. That's after we are writing. You can write way more than what I have written, okay? But because I don't want to just waste your time typing on and on, but I want to show you how it is done so we can go on from here, right? I hope you guys get what I'm trying to say. The study is a randomized control trial. So the study used a randomized control trial method, right? Which is an interventional approach, an interventional study to um to assess LD eating, LD eating among preschoolers, right? So that's what the study has done, right? That said, we can now okay. Let me now bring out my talking point now to assess LD eating among this. This implies that this study is trying to check out for effectiveness, right? Which is like quite appropriate. So randomized control trial, this is where our critique is now coming in. I don't want to waste time. Sorry, why am I typing in quick? Is appropriate, meaning you're trying to give it a thumbs up. Like it's appropriate for assessing effectiveness, effectiveness of an intervention, and it is also referred to as the gold standard, right? Yeah, I think it is. Anyway, that's what I know. It's also referred to as a gold standard for medical research, meaning it's like the thing you have to use. You get like this is what is acceptable. Then you reference that. What's your reference? You get your reference. Reference that. I can't remember where I read it, so sorry, no reference for you. But then you reference that. Let's just assume one reference. They're like me, Bookie. I like using myself. God knows. Wiki 2021, right? So that said, now that means we've given it a thumbs up. We can now go a step further. Uh, we've said it is the gold standard, it is effective. However, randomized control trial is not without its limitations. For example, right? So, for example, you have limitation that has to do with its applicability and ethical limitations. So let's just say, for example, blah blah blah. You write all that ethical limitations, and all applicability. You write all. You tell us about some of these limitations. Because something is good does not mean it is perfect. That's what this is telling you. Then you place your reference. Again, let's just assume it's me. Bookie 2021, right? So, like, that is how you construct it. This is just to give you an overview. We can't go into too much detail. This video is already spanning, it's almost 20 minutes already. I don't like talking for extremely too long in my video because I don't want to bore you out, but I want you to get the concept. But I hope you get what I'm trying to say now. I think it's pretty much explanatory. Tell us what the article is, give us a brief introduction of it. What is the problem? Give us an introduction of that problem. What approach was used? Now tell us about the approach. Give us the plus, give us the minus. That is how you're critiquing. You're not saying the article is bad, you're not saying it is good. So if we now go in further, like if we go in a bit more, so if we go back to this, remember there's a full video on how to use this. So make sure to check out that. This is just me trying to address. Now the first question says, did the study address a clearly focused research question? Was the study designed to address the outcomes of an intervention? All this is the research question focused in terms of population. That's your PICO now. So yes, what we would say is yes, the study try to address a clearly focused research question. Pick out your research question from reading that. You pick out your research question from that. They had their research question, which was would uh, educating the parents on certain dietary and activity level of their preschoolers help to reduce obesity among the preschoolers. So you go back to your write up. When you go back to your write up, you put it there that so the question stated that, sorry, let me look at the question again. Did the study clearly fo- did the study address a clearly focused research question? So to start the write up, uh, the study addressed. Oh, another thing you can do is after writing all this, like you can include that you're going to use CASP tool. CASP tool, you're going to use CASP tool. CASP tool will be used as a checklist, as a checklist to assist in this critiquing. Okay? So now this question was saying, did the study what's going on? Sorry. So like the study have a clearly focused research question. So back to our write-up. The study had a clearly focused research question. Research question, which was stated the research question, which was this, and the additionally the PICO. You write the full meaning of PICO. That's the population, the intervention, the comparative study, and the outcome. The PICO was clearly stated. The PICO was clearly stated. Uh, Although you now start with the PICO one after the other. Okay, like the population, although the outcome being measured is on the preschooler's weight and like the effect, but the intervention itself is focused on the parents, how they are able to like take the educational what's it called now that was given to them. Do you understand? They gave them this program was called Mend, where they advised the parent, told them how to make sure their kids are exercising, the food to give the kids. So you list out that pico, the duration and everything. So now this pico in question, you now critique it. Do you think the pico is appropriate, or do you think the pico use is appropriate for the intervention? Well, in my opinion, I kind of think it is. Understanding that, so if I'm to after listing all my pico, what the pico is, how they intend to do the pico, I'll do all that. I'm not going to type all that, guys. So I'll just go on and write like understanding that preschoolers are dependent. It is it is acceptable that the intervention is focused on their parent or caregivers, right? So now we need a fact to support this. How is it acceptable? So a study by, let's say, Edmond has shown that the best approach to a successful intervention involving children would require, do you understand? Would involving children would require the support and involvement of the parents, right? First up. So, what have you done? You have backed up the reason for that population. Do you understand? So that's how you go about it. But you don't just give a positive. You already know that this is a critic. It's never positive, positive. So you can now further go on to say, after you've written this, that okay, it's nice they've involved the parent, but in the real sense of it, it is a bit vague regarding the fact that it's the children that you're trying to cope, but you're dealing with the parents. So, what's the probability that those parents would incorporate everything being taught, everything they've learned? Do you understand? So, it's still a bit questionable. So that's like the negative part of it. So you look for an article that supports that, or that has written extensively about that, then you quote that as well. So that's how you critique the PICO. You It's the population right. So since this population is appropriate, yes, you're trying to tackle childhood obesity. Of course, it is appropriate for you to go to preschoolers and all the any other type of children that you want to use. But then the intervention is focused on the children. Yes, good, because these children in question cannot, they of course they don't cook their own food, they don't make their own choices, they are independent, and those are the parents. So it is good that you've gone to the parents. But now the question is, you've gone to the parents to help the children. What is the probability that these parents in question, with all the stress and everything they're going to, will be able to provide the adequate help that these children need? So that's how you go on critiquing everything. State when you even get to the methodology, everything used. If they tell you, oh, they used blinding, tell us the advantage of blinding. If there is a disadvantage of blinding in the methodology, tell us how did they interpret the how did they analyze their data. Tell us the advantages, disadvantage, tell us if they use the standard. Any other thing you notice, if there was no blinding, tell us what the implication of that would be. How were they chosen? I think most of these parents were chosen through adverts, so that means like it's just a voluntary sign up. So what if the is that truly representative? So those are the things that would be questioned. I've addressed most of all this in my previous video, right? So make sure to check it out. I'm just showing you how to do the write-up, and this is how to do the write-up. So to now conclude it, which is like the conclusion part, the introduction, the body, I have extensively spoken about that in previous videos, but I have also shown you right now how you can do that write-up. And don't forget, if you still need additional help, then you have to book a consultation with me. The link is in the description box. And if you are enjoying this video so far, if it is providing you with the necessary knowledge that you need, then please and please tap on that subscribe button. It is alarming that most of you guys that are watching my videos do not subscribe. Maybe I don't say it enough. Please subscribe. Okay, so that said, now to the conclusive part of it. If you're going to conclude, you know what conclusion is. Bring everything into summary. And I've told you in the on this channel that there is no bad article. So never say the article is bad or the article is good. It is not what we do. So instead, so I drafted something. We'll go like, this study conducted, that's the summary, conducted a randomized control trial involving parents of 2 to 4 year olds. Did I say 22? Sorry. 2 to 4 year olds, right? To prevent or to assess healthy eating, and obesity prevention, which is what the article had done, right? So now, if you want to go a bit further, although this point might have been mentioned in the course of you writing the entire thing, but I still like to put in my conclusion. The article was ethically approved and is focused on tackling a growing pandemic. Did I say pandemic? I'm used to saying pandemic now, thanks to COVID. A growing epidemic, right? So, tackling a growing, let's put it as a growing global epidemic. Global epidemic. Despite the strengths of the study, it is not without its limitations. However, the study acknowledged the limitations and made recommendations. Okay, now I think I'm just typing words in my head. Made recommendations. So the study acknowledged the limitations, and the study also they acknowledged limitations and made recommendations and necessary adjustments where necessary. That's it. In terms of the calculations now, adjustments where necessary. So where necessary. So I can decide to stop like this, but you can go a step further and say these recommendations would recommendations and adjustments. Oh, sorry, it should be plural. That's distracting me. So they made recommendation and adjustments where necessary. So I can decide to leave it like this or go a step further and say these recommendations would also inform like future research, which I think is important, and also my also is plenty. It will inform future research, and it would also help with tackling the main problem, which is childhood obesity. So if you want to go a step further again, look for an article or like a prevalence study. Go to worldobesity.org. You always get stuff like that on obesity though. So if you go to worldobesity.org, look at the forecast on how if an intervention is done or if an intervention can be if a success can be achieved regarding a particular intervention, how does it impact on the prevalence of obesity? That means how does it bring it down? You can end it with that so that with studies like this, there is a forecast that says that if success is achieved with this particular intervention that is proposed, the rate of childhood obesity can be reduced by this percentage within this time period, and you can end it like that. So there are several ways to finish. You can finish soft and you can finish hardcore. Okay, guys, so basically that's it. That's how I would approach it. That is how I would do it. And see, I didn't want to spread long. Like, I was dreading this very long term video, but then I think we kind of get the message now, or we kind of have an idea of how to go about it. So if you still need, I'm saying it again, if you still need additional help, you can book a consultation You can click on the link in the description box and book a consultation. Additionally, you can send me an email, but please, guys, don't send me an email and just send me your work and say, hey, this is my work, look at it. It doesn't work that way. If you want me to take a look at your work, you have to book a consultation. But if you need maybe a clarification about something I said and you're not clear, ask the question. Send me an email and ask the question. I will definitely answer you. But please don't send me your work and say, have a look at it. It doesn't work that way. You want me to take a look at your work, then you have to book a consultation and go through the appropriate channel. Okay, guys. So I hope I have been able to impact you. That's the whole essence of this very long video. So I hope I've been able to impact you, and I hope you'll be able to answer your questions where needed. So thank you so much, guys. If you have watched this far, then I am 100% sure you've liked and you've subscribed. And I will see you in my, or you will see me. Anyway, till I see you again in my next video, make sure you put a smile on somebody's face. Bye.